fine, Lorraine. So tonight I thought we'll just talk about the upcoming things for IBMA. You have a lot of activities going on there at the Coffe house.
Got a lot going on. Well, I'll be playing downtown at the church. We usually go play the church on Thursday nights. That's North Carolina night, and we'll go out and do that downtown Raleigh, and then
what church is it?
I believe it's called the Longview Church.
Okay.
In Raleigh.
Is that a real small church where people have weddings and stuff?
It's a beautiful church. It's a white church. It's really beautiful. It does have great sound.
I think I played a wedding there. It's a good sounding room.
Yeah, it's a great sounding room. Sure is. But we like to do that every year. We just like to go down there and go downtown and get to play down there.
And who's in your band now?
Well, I got Ben Green on the banjo. He's been with me for 18 years now.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Great guy. Started his career.
Player too.
Oh yeah. Started his career with Mr. Charlie Moore.
Yep.
And he played with James King.
Dempsey and Alan.
Yeah, Alan Mills, Lost and Found, and he's played with David Palmy, Continental Divide. He's played with Junior Sis and Blueridge, Bluegrass Cardinals. But anyway, he's a good one, and I just brought in this year to help me out this year, Mr. Warren Blair, who also started his career same time as Ben with Charlie Moore. When they were 18-year-old teenagers, they started with Charlie, and Warren's gone on to play with Dale McCurry and George Jones and Bluegrass Cardinals. And
he was on the cover of the Welcome to Virginia album that the Cardinals did.
So I pulled him out of retirement, and he said he'd help me out another year.
Well, I've been a fan of his playing. I think he played great on those first albums they did with the Cardinals.
He's wonderful. He's such a gentleman. He and Ben, they're all about being professional and having their part right and being ready for the stage.
Yeah.
Then I got some new guys, and they're really learning the ropes now and coming along. Alan Dyer, great singer. He's been around for a long time.
Well,
singing with his dad.
He grew up in a bluegrass home, didn't he?
Right.
Glenn.
Right, with Glenn Dyer, Brothers in Bluegrass, and of course in the 70s, Alan and I played in a little band together, and Alan went on to get married and raise kids and cows and horses. And,
what band was that?
It was a band called Galax. And actually, Tony McLam was the banjo player in that band.
Okay.
And we went.
Zach McLam.
Yeah, we went out and won the state fair contest, got the blue ribbon, and never played again hardly. And then years later, Garrett Newton went out on the road with me, and he got to play one banjo song. I think Masha was there some when this happened, and he would clean the bus and take care of the sales table, and I'd say you get to play one song, that's your reward. And then he came to me one day and he said, I'd kind of like to play more than one song. And I said, well, it's kind of Ben's job, but we don't know if we could give you another song or not on stage. And so he said, well, I'd like to get my own band then. And I said, okay, well, who are you thinking about putting in it? And he said, you. And I said, me? He said, yeah. He said, I want you to play bass for me and run my band. I'm like, Garrett, I'm already running one band. He said, well, you can handle it. I've seen you handle a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I did. And I said, who do you want in this band? He said, I'd like to get Alan Dyer to sing lead. I said, yeah, I don't think Alan's going to stop working long enough to, sing. But Alan did. Alan said he'd like to do that. So he came on board to do that. And he said he'd like to get Mike Aldridge to play the mandolin. And I said, Mike, he's kind of semi-retired, but we called Mike, and Mike said he wasn't interested, but he had a son that might be, so we called his son Daniel, and he was interested. And then we got Parks Eisenhower from the Brothers of Bluegrass, and put him in there too. And so Alan and I played together with Garrett for about 3 years. And then I lost one of my members, and when I lost him, I thought, well, you know what, the smartest thing for me to do would be to ask Alan to join Carolina Road. I hated to do it, I really did, but because Garrett had 2 CDs out on Pine Castle, he had a good thing going, but I just had to keep Carolina Road going. So Alan came over with me. He's been with me now 5 years. And then Another guy that's in the band, a guy that works over, owns Parker's Barbecue, one of the owners, Kevin Lamb, plays bass and sings good traditional music.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
And the best barbecue in the area.
Definitely got that vinegar bass going on.
Yeah.
And then I got a guitar. I added a guitar player this year, mainly because I was doing some country grass, and I needed some lead guitar playing. And then we recorded a song called "Just an Old Penny," and it had some beautiful guitar work. And so I added a guy that plays down at the coffee house. He's been playing a lot of gospel, a lot of country, and brought him on into the bluegrass back again. And Wayne Morris, and he's doing some good lead guitar picking.
Very, very tasteful musician. I met him recently.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe he had been living in this area for so long, and being such a good musician, and that I never had run into him. That was kind of strange, you know.
I think it was mainly because he was playing a lot of gospel.
Yeah.
With his wife and his wife's family.
Yeah.
The Morris family.
Okay.
And but he did play some bluegrass out at the NC State Fair at the Folk Festival.
Yeah.
With some of those fellas out there, old Barney Rogers, you know.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent guitar player.
Oh yeah. And he plays it all. He plays piano on Sunday mornings.
Okay.
So glad to have him. But we feel like we got a really good band right now, and about everywhere we go, people always saying, "Wow, y'all got good harmonies."
Yeah.
And
well, you have a long tradition. We were looking at some footage earlier from 2002.
Yeah.
When I filled in for Jason Berry, who had he was getting married that weekend, so we played there at Bean Blossom, and you remember you had Dan Wells and Timmy Massey and
good
Rick
band.
Pardue,
Good band.
Tom Langdon, and I played fiddle and you mandolin, and that stage, it's so historic.
Yeah, it means a lot to play on that stage.
Yeah. One of the first albums I bought was MCA Records presents Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Festival at Bean Blossom, Indiana. One of my first bluegrass albums.
I got one of those
and
too.
they had this, I guess, some kind of enhanced sound, so it sounded like Woodstock on steroids or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could have never imagined that I would be playing there at some point. And I've had, you know how that feels.
Oh yeah, and just like last weekend, you and I both went down to Jerusalem's Ridge.
Yeah.
Played on the Bill Monroe stage. That's a great feeling there.
Yeah.
To do that also, it's just amazing to stand there and just look at Bill Monroe's house and look at the Jerusalem's Ridge while you're there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It feels like it's a magic place.
Yeah, it's magical. I've been on the road now 23 years. You were actually my first fiddle player.
Yeah.
And I think it got to be long road riding for you, and plus you had your teaching. You were doing so good with your teaching, and so we moved on. But you've always been there for me, and I always like everything you've done for the music. And you know, I've always tried to keep it going and keep it as traditional as I can. And
well, I tell you, besides doing well for yourself as far as the Carolina Road Band, I think you first with your coffee house, thinking first of all, with your coffee house you have bluegrass bands play once a week at least.
Every Friday night.
Yeah, every Friday night, and that's streamed on the internet, so you can watch it on Lorraine'sCoffeehouse.com at or.
Yes, Lorraine's Coffee House Facebook page.
Yeah,
you go there, and you know we don't charge anybody because we started doing it during COVID. And that was a way for people to get live music. You know, they couldn't get out of their house.
Right.
And then when COVID was released and we were able to, you know, bring people back in, it was like, you know, well, how do we charge for this? And, you know, how do we pay royalties if we charge? And how do we pay the bands if we charge? And it was like, let's just don't charge.
It'd be easier.
And the
people, good exposure. I mean, it's been
great
good advertising for you.
Great exposure. I've had a lot of articles written about the coffee house and myself due to that live streaming.
Yeah.
And you know, I used to go out there and they'd say, "Oh, Lorraine Jordan from Carolina Road," or they'd say, "Oh, you're the one that started the Daughters of Bluegrass," or "Oh, you're the one that started the country grass." Well, now it's all about Lorraine's Coffee House and the live streaming.
Yeah.
It's gotten big time. But you know, we're going to have some events down
Yeah, for IBMA.
during IBMA.
Yeah,
I'll let you know what some of those are right now. First of all, Wednesday night during IBMA.
Excuse me, Masha, give me a drink of water, please.
Mhm.
It's in that black cup. It's just water.
Okay.
Okay, we can start this. So,
Okay.
we got IBMA coming up here now in about a week, I guess, and
Yeah.
you got some interesting things going on there all week, I believe.
Yeah, Wednesday night, September the 27th. I've got a songwriters artist showcase, and we did this last year, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't get everybody in there, so this year we decided to charge a little fee because, you know, we just can't handle the numbers that were coming for it to be free, and I think people will support it anyway, and we do pay the artists, so, you know, it gives us an opportunity to help pay these artists. But we're going to start off at 7 o'clock with Brink Brinkman, and he's got some great songs.
Yes.
Matter of fact, he's the co-writer of our new single, Just an Old Penny. He co-wrote it with David Stewart.
Yeah.
And the songwriter who has written me 3 #1 hits on Bluegrass Unlimited,
Yeah.
Mr. David Stewart.
Yeah.
Started out with 2 from Tom T. Hall, and now David's carrying that on. And Alan Dyer will be singing some of those David Stewart hits like True Grass and Bill Monroe's old Mandolin, different things like that. And I'll be singing harmony with him, playing the mandolin. Wayne Marshall will be playing the guitar with us there. And Kevin Lamb may pop in, I'm not sure. But if he does, we could do something I wrote with him. And then we got Donna Ulysses and Rick Stanley. They're married.
Yeah. I saw them just last week.
Right, and Donna does a lot of great songwriting, and so does Rick. And one of my favorite songs by Donna is "It Could Have Been the Mandolin."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love that song, and I'm sure she'll be doing that one and several other ones. Jerry Salley with "Paper and Pen," one of his biggest hits, and then Joe Mullins, "Bacon in My Beans." Jerry Salley's a great singer, great songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Daryl Mosley.
Yeah, I remember him from New Tradition way back.
Wow, yes, and what a great singer. I didn't realize how good a singer he is, and such a great songwriter. And he's got the old radio song and Mayberry Day song, and he'll be doing those. And then we're hoping to have Larry Cordell there with us. He was there with us last year, and you know, he's hoping that his wife's been a little under the weather, and he's hoping that maybe she'll be good enough where he can travel again. So
yeah,
maybe we'll have all of them. Of course, Doug Whitley will be our host, and he'll be doing the MC work.
He's a great MC.
Gosh, he's a great MC.
Yeah. He's got the perfect voice, and he can just go on and on.
And,
even when we were there and there was some delay, you know, he just killed time perfectly.
Yeah. Highway 40 Bluegrass is the name of his radio station. Comes on Tuesdays from 4 to 7, and he's got the golden voice, and he just knows what to say and when to say it. So, you know, it's hard to beat him. So that's going to be, once again, September the 27th, and we'll start at 7, and we'll probably go to about 9:30 or so.
Yeah.
Then on Thursday night, the next night, we got something real exciting. Some of your students might like this. We're going to have a Bluegrass Open Mic with Mike. Now, we do open mic the second and fourth Thursday of every week.
Okay.
But this is going to be our Bluegrass Open Mic. We're having bands sign up already. We still got a few more spots. But right now,
Nick Chandler.
Yeah, we got Nick Chandler playing.
You know,
yeah.
Me and Nick used to be roommates at the Bluegrass Center in Asheville back in the 80s.
Oh, the Bluegrass Center.
I know Nick quite well.
Was that Milton's place?
No, there was the Clyde Franklin's place in Nashville on Hendersonville Road there.
Well, how about that? Yeah, we'll have Nick Chandler, and we'll have a band called Echo Valley. We'll have a band. Lorraine Jordan Carolina Road will play, and
I heard of them.
Yeah, they're gonna be there, and Kevin Prater will be there. But
oh yeah,
you know, bands can come do 1 or 2 songs. It'll be fun. That's Thursday night. Date on that's September the 28th. There it is. Had a hard time finding it. And then on Friday. It's looking real good. Friday live at Lorraine's. Every Friday night it's Bluegrass night. And we got 5 bands.
Wow.
$15. 5 bands for $15. Thursday night is going to be a free night with the open mic. But These 5 bands right here. Casey Penn, very, very good fiddle player and friend of mine and singer, and enjoy her a lot. And Wilson Banjo, just a new band coming up. And Wilson Pickens, my promoter, is married to Steve, their band leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Edgar Loudermilk, who's really doing well out there.
Yeah, I saw him at, I think it was Camp Springs.
Mm-hmm. He's doing real well out there. And then Lorraine Jordan Carolina Road will be on that night also. And then, of course, we got Danny Paisley.
Yeah.
And the Southern Grass.
What you're talking about, bluegrass?
So good to get Danny Paisley.
Yeah.
Get him there. So that's gonna be the Friday night live at Lorraine's, and it's $15 for 5 bands.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not even $5 a band.
No, I mean if you had there'd be a lot of music for the bang for the buck.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then Saturday night we got 3 shows one night, and then this is gonna start out with a great band called the Grassifieds. They brought a lot of people when they came, and they sure did a great job.
Where are they from?
They're out of Winston-Salem area. They got a female fiddle player. She's real good. And Jim Grubbs is the band leader, and he's also one of the DJs out there in Bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 8 o'clock we're going to have Country Grass, and this is Lorraine Jordan Country Grass, but this is not the same thing as Carolina Road. Now this band includes Matt Hooper on fiddle and Garrett Newton on banjo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
still bluegrass.
It's still bluegrass, we just do all classic country songs, bluegrass style.
Oh, okay.
And then Amanda Cook Band's gonna close out the evening for us.
And who is Amanda?
Amanda, she's a very good singer. She got a great band. Troy Pope, he used to play with Sideline, plays the mandolin for her. She's got some really good guys from ETSU playing with her and gals, and they really do a good job. They really do. That's worth the show right there with Amanda. Now I'll tell you, speaking of Amanda, another place that Amanda's going to be playing, not during IBMA, but these are some festivals I have. I have what's called Bluegrass in the Blueridge, and this is a new festival. And Amanda's going to be here at this festival. I try to book bands that have some of the ETSU students in their bands.
Yeah, there's a lot of musicians.
There is.
Great.
And so I was able to get Amanda because her band has 3 or 4 of them. And then we got some other great bands. Authentic Unlimited is one of the bands that's
just like Dole's old band.
Dole's old band, and boy can they sing.
Yeah,
that's a good band right there. Tennessee Bluegrass Band, they got a lot of ETSU students also.
That's with Lincoln Hensley.
Ashley Portchop. And then you got Cane Mill Road, Liam Purcell, and a lot of them go to the School of Berkeley Music.
Our old friend Doug McCormick's son plays guitar for that band.
Yes, he sure does.
And I met Doug the same night I met my wife, so it's been a few years back.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I got Junior Sis is coming that night, and Troy Pope, Coyote Ugly. That's a good band right there. A lot of people might not know them, but
what are the names?
Coyote Ugly. but they're from Kingsport, Tennessee, and they got some good musicians, good singer in that band. Remedy Tree's coming in from Florida. I got the ETSU Pride Band that's the East Tennessee State University Pride Band. Comprised of all students from ETSU. Yeah. Larry Efall's going to bring me a little bit of a mountain show. Might have some cloggers coming in with us. And then Tim White and Jerry Butler are going to kick it off for us. And
Jerry Butler.
Yep.
Give us another
another
singer.
Carolina Road boy.
Yeah.
And this is in Kingsport, April 12th and April 13th. And it's something we try to do to help out with ETSU and give the students somewhere to come over.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Everything's under one roof. I mean, you got the hotel room, you got the stage, you got the restaurants, you got the picking outside by the fire pits. It's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
But that'd be a good one for you to drive up to. Now this one right here, your daughter Marsha's helped me with this festival many years.
Yeah. Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Right. Bluegrass and Christmas in the Smokies. I used to have it in December.
Yeah.
But we just got back-to-back snow and I thought, wow, I
Yeah.
got to get out of
Yeah.
the snow, you
Yeah.
know. So, and this is anybody who's anybody. November 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Oh, Larry Sparks by himself.
Larry
He's worth
Sparks.
The drive from wherever
Yes,
you are.
it is. Yes, it is. Larry Sparks is our host on Friday night, and we'll have the Grascals, we'll have the Malphus brothers, we've got Cody Norris, we've got Leroy and Lizzie,
And not, I can't believe I can't remember his name. I just saw him. He used to play with Rhonda. Fiddle.
Hunter Berry.
Hunter Berry.
Yeah, he's plays with them now.
Yes,
You're right.
We had a long visit the other day.
You're right.
Yeah.
He sure does. Gary Brewer, Paul Williams, one of everybody's favorites.
Gary Brewer is good. I always liked him.
He is good. They are wild. They jump off the stage and everything. They really put on a great show. They're going to close us out on Saturday night.
Okay.
The Price sisters will be there. Larry Efall, Ralph Stanley too,
Mm-hmm.
Williamson Branch, Kevin Prater, Country Gentleman Tribute Band.
Who is in that?
Well, they got a guy in there that sings just like Charlie Waller. His name is Mike. He's got a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Beachley's in that band. It's a lot of guys from the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
My friend Donna Ulysses will be doing the gospel song we got out, Mama's Cross. We'll do that together. That's something we co-wrote and sang together. And I've got I got a welcome band that's going to welcome you when you come in there, Davis Bradley. And I've got Billy and the Kids going to kick off a couple of shows for us. And Doug Whitley and my dad, Royce Jordan, will be the MCs. And it's hosted by Lorraine Jordan and Carolina Road. This is our 12th year.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big one, November 16th, 17th, and 18th. So I got a lot going on, y'all.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad to see that you create opportunities for people to do what they love to do, is to play bluegrass.
Well, it gives me an opportunity, and it gives me a chance to bring in my friends. And, you know, the festivals are slowing down a little bit out there. And so, you know, I thought, well, I'll try to open one more and do my part, keep my one going, and then open my part. And then I do host Willow Oak in Roxboro, North Carolina. Mike Wilson's the promoter, but we're the host band for him, and we bring in people over there for him. And
Mike used to be involved in another big festival
Oh,
for
yeah.
years.
he was a member of the Bass Mountain Boys. He sure was. And so it's just but you and I, we've been out there pushing and, you know, trying to keep it going for a long time.
Yeah. I've mostly focused on my YouTube channel, and you know, I've uploaded over 1,000, you know, videos with interviews and stuff, and I think it's well, it adds to the culture heritage, you know.
And you're teaching.
Yeah.
You've taught many a student.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there playing professional right now. It's kind of like my brother quarterbacks, and he's got players in the NFL, you know, now, and I say that's got to be the biggest reward. And then you got guys out there playing. Well, you got me out there. I was one of your students.
Yeah.
You got playing professionally.
Emily, you know, I got friends from Watchtower. They used to be Mandolin Orange, and John Tier, you know, and Samantha Case, Lindsay Thames, you know, I got some good new ones now. There are just, you know, between like 8 and 12, 13.
Well, you got that Bull Run band. That's a great band.
Yeah.
I like those guys. They're really good.
They're all good. Yeah.
And I think.
And I'm glad, like
Jake,
you know, the mandolin player. And Johnny too. They come over and just want to pick, you know.
That's good that people still want to do that.
Nate Aldridge and people like that. I'm happy they want to keep in touch. John Tier from Chatham County line, you know.
Now, did you teach Nate Aldridge? Was he one of your students?
No. I just kind of tried to be a good role model for
him. All right. And you did in the Chatham County line. Now that's a different style of music, but they're good.
They started out for, you know, more bluegrass.
Right.
But they created a sound that is. I saw them back in June at Lincoln Theater in Raleigh, and I was blown away how good they were.
Yeah, it's different, but it's
Yeah.
something that you know is like a lot of people are liking that difference right now.
And John loves bluegrass. You know, Clarence White, he's with Scotty Stoneman and Baker and Monroe and all this. So I guess I raised him well in that sense.
Yeah, you're doing good. You know, and people come to the coffee house. They ask me if we give lessons up there, and I say no. But if you can get to Cary, and I'll tell them about you. Used to keep your cards up there. I'm out of them now, but
Yeah.
you know, people. I think we've sent you quite a few students actually.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I certainly need them. You know, there's so much competition now.
Oh, I didn't realize that. But there's a lot of good music in this area. I mean,
yeah.
you played with Russell Johnson for many years, with Barney Rogers, and you know, there's just Julie Elkins, still around playing banjo probably. And
yeah, absolutely. I played with. So I did a gig back in the summer with Julie, Dan Wells, and Zach McLam.
Oh yeah, and Zach now he's with Grasstown.
Yep.
And they're playing, but I think Alan's moved on to Boston Range, so that might have slowed them down some. And Jeff Huffman plays with them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of us out there. I mean, it's amazing how many of us from a Triangle area are out there playing. I mean, Sideline came from the Triangle area.
That's right.
Steve Dillon, Skip Cherry Holmes.
John Wade used to be my neighbor.
John Wade, he played with me. He's one of my bass players I had.
Yeah. And you know, Russell used to live over on Mayo Dan, and John was on Park, and Julie lived with us here. So we had within a couple of blocks a pretty decent bluegrass
That's
band.
pretty good. That's pretty good. It's just like with my band now, you know, two of my guys live in my same town.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's unusual.
That's very unusual because, you know, like we got one coming from Maryland and one coming from Monroe, and we have to meet on the road, but it's pretty neat to have, you know, a couple right there where you're at. And you know, I used to do everything with the band, but I've had to cut back. But
yeah, man, you can only.
You just can't keep going forever.
Even you can't do it everything.
No, I can't. But Alan Dyer now, he's taking care of the bus.
Okay.
Driving the bus, doing the maintenance. Kevin Lamb helps drive the bus, helps me call radio DJs. And then Wayne Morris, he does our inventory and our sales. So basically, right now, I'm just booking the shows and doing the contracts and keeping the dates going. You know, and it's nice not to have to do all the rest. I used to drive the bus and
I know.
all of it. And I just, you know, I just reached the point where I said, if we're going to play, I got to have some guys come in to help out with some of this. And I'm carrying Warren Blair, you know, and Ben Green, and I mean, they've been out there for over 50 years.
Yeah.
That's 100 years of bluegrass on my stage every time. That's pretty.
And you've been playing a few years yourself.
Yeah, well, 23 with Carolina Road, and I had another 10 or so, probably 33, you know.
You had Mandolin Rose.
Mandolin Rose when I was a teenager. And,
who was in Mandolin Rose?
Well, Kent Dixon, who comes to the coffee house and plays now. He was, and you played with us some, and Tom, my late husband Tom Langdon, and Neil Crumpler, and David from Fuquay, the bass player.
Sampler.
Yeah, David Sampler. And then we added Gary, your good friend Gary, that helped you with your building here. So he came in and took the bass. I don't know where old Gary's at now, do you?
No, I have no idea.
And I do not know where David is, except I believe he's in the Fuquay area because I was.
Yeah, I've been in touch with David
You have?
Sampler. He was looking for a band to play with.
Oh, okay, listen to this. I was in Applebee's in Fuquay Marina. And here I am eating my food, and I look up there on the wall, and it's like, there's a picture of David playing the bass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how about that?
He got out of that band, but they've been playing for years. It's like a blues band.
Yeah, I'm like
an electric.
It's pretty cool to have somebody, you know, it's kind of like being on the cover of a magazine.
Yes, a magazine that started in 1966 as just like a little mimeograph kind of thing. I mean, I have it, and I should have prepared, but now it was started by Pete Kuykendall back in 1966, and of course Pete was one of the founding members of IBMA, and just a great force in bluegrass music. We all were kind of Pete's students in some way, and then you ended up here and on the cover of Bluegrass Unlimited, and it's pretty good company, because you see now it was before you, it was Bobby Osborne, and you know, a lot of legends. Now it's Missy Raines, and she's certainly a legend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
Billy was on there. The guitar
Billy
player,
Strings.
Billy Strings was on there, and my good friend Donna Ulysses. So they're putting some really great ones on there. Joe Mullen's band was on there.
That's right. Yeah, I get the magazine, and I met the new editor of the magazine.
Yes, very Dan. What a great guy he is. He wanted to do. He called me at first and he says, Lorraine, he says, now you've had these 3 #1 songs, and this one guy, David Stewart, has written them all.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, is it the perfect storm or something going on there? And I told the story. I said, well, let me tell you how it happened. I said, I recorded a CD, and I was doing some tour dates with Eddie Raven, the country artist.
Mm-hmm.
And David Stewart wrote a lot of Eddie Raven songs. And so Eddie Raven says to me, he says, you know what, you need to meet David Stewart. And I said, well, who is he? He said, he's a great songwriter. He writes a lot of great country songs. And he says, boy, he would really do fantastic in the bluegrass world. And I said, well, let me meet him. And he said, well, let's get him to write a song for our CD. We'll get him to write the title cut. So he wrote one called All Grassed Up that Eddie Raven sang and co-wrote with David. And I got to know David Stewart through that. And then I was talking to David just back and forth on telephone. And I was, we're talking about how the music's changing, the traditional bluegrass has been fading away a little bit. And, and he and I were talking about the true grass, and why does the true grass have to stop, or does it stop, or how can we keep it going? And I said, well, David, you're the songwriter. I said, you put a song together, and to help it out. And he did, and he called me one night and he said, I think you're the perfect man to do this song.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's called Why Can't Bluegrass Just Be True Grass Again? So I took the song, and I thought, gosh, I got to put Danny Paisley and Junior Sis on this song.
Mm-hmm.
We put it out, and a lot of people said, whoa, you might get some, feedback from that. People might not like you saying, let's keep it true and traditional and keep it around. And I'm like, we're not putting anybody's music down. We're just saying, hey, let's honor those legends, and let's keep the traditional bluegrass alive. And Danny and Junior came on, and we said, we're going to do it. We didn't know what was going to happen. But it just so happened that song now holds the record of being the #1, the longest on Bluegrass Unlimited charts of any song.
Wow.
And it was on there for, I believe it was 16 months, 5 of those months at #1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And then after that, David wrote me a song called Bill Monroe's Old Mandolin.
Yeah.
We were both watching the night Ricky Skaggs was given the Bill Monroe's Real Mandolin by Garth Brooks, and he played Circle Unbroken on it. And I called David, and I said, David, I said, are you watching the Country Music Awards? He said, yep, and there's a song in it, isn't it? I said, there is, and I want it. And so we did that song. That song went #1, stayed #1 for 3 months, and it was the most played song in bluegrass radio in 2020, and that was the COVID year, which was a lot of radio and getting played. And so we put that out, and Gibson Custom Factory called me. David Harvey called me, and he said he liked the song, he liked what it stood for, and he liked the fact that, we put in there, he picked up his old Gibson, he embraced it like a friend, he held it like the Bible, and he said, you need Bill Monroe's Old Mandolin on that song. And I said, well, you get it out of the glass case at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I'll play it on there. And he said, I don't know if we can do that. He said, but we can certainly build one just like it. And he did. And I'm now playing the Bill Monroe Hall of Fame mandolin. Mm-hmm. And so I was excited to get that mandolin, play that mandolin, and I'll probably play that till my dying day. It's got the tone of Monroe's, it's got the looks. People say, "Oh, wow, that's how old is that?" And when I tell them, they're like, "Wow,
Yeah, they can make them look really old.
Yeah, and sound old. They distress them.
Yeah.
This one's been distressed by the same number of years Bill Monroe's was. It's got Bill Monroe's signature in it. It's got the rattlesnake in it, you know, and it's not the snake, but the rattler.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that song's been good for me for a lot of reasons. And then during COVID, you know, when people couldn't get out, I told David, I said, David, write me something peppy, you know, because COVID's going to end, and we need to have everybody trying to get back to normal, getting happy again. And so he wrote a song called A Little Bit of Bluegrass will Chase Your Blues Away. Put that out, and I didn't know how that song was going to do. I felt like it would do okay, and then it went #1. So that made 5.
Yeah.
And so now we got, the first one was Tom T. Hall, Light in the Window. The second one was Tom T. Hall, That's Kentucky. And then we've got the True Grass, Bill Monroe's Old Mandolin, and A Little Bit of Bluegrass, Chase Your Blues Away. So that's 5 for me in 23 years, which is averaging 1 every 5 years. And I thank the fans so much for liking what we're doing out there. Because they're the ones that do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the DJs play it, and you appreciate that. Promoters book you, and you appreciate that. But the fans ask for them.
Yeah.
But I was glad to get to do the cover article. And, you know, if you don't know much about me outside of just playing the mandolin and having a coffee house, you might be surprised some things you read in there. You know, you'll find out.
Well, we have another thing in common, and it's a big topic that we don't have had time for tonight, but that is adoption and stuff like that. And you were very helpful with us when we decided to go that way.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's that and many other things.
Yeah, it shows a good heart.
I think both of us have got the big hearts, and Jon, I really enjoy visiting with you and sitting here talking to you and letting me talk about my shows. And hope everybody come out, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to Lorraine's Coffee House during IBMA week.
And if you're not able out there, it's on the Facebook live stream on Lorraine's Coffee House Facebook page. It streams every Friday night there.
Yeah, we'll stream at the same time as the show. It's a live streaming. So
will you be streaming on the weeknights?
We'll be streaming every one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nothing like sitting there. Just like we had Larry Sparks a few weeks ago, and you were there, and you brought a lot of people. And we appreciate you for that. But you know, you realize those people sitting in that front row were like 2 feet from Larry Sparks. I mean, that's a listening center right there. It's like when I used to go to the Birchmere and watch the Seldom Seen, and I could reach out and touch them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there.
Yeah. And for my friend from England, you know, that was his first live performance of bluegrass, and Larry Sparks. I mean, that's a pretty good start, I'd say.
I'd say that's a great start.
Yeah, and can't get any better.
And you know, we've had Joe Mullins come. We've had Larry Stevenson. Kevin Prater will be there soon. Amanda Cook's been there. Graskell's have been there. You know, it's just amazing the people that do come to the coffee house that play. You know, they're
James King played there.
James King played there. He sure did. So we've had a lot of the national acts come through, and I'm getting calls from more and more each day.
Good. So anyway, Lorraine, let's end this, and then I want to talk to you a little more, and then maybe we can do a second interview or a third.
That'd be great.
Because we haven't really talked about how you got interested.
No problem.
In bluegrass, so.
Pushing the IBMA dates tonight at the coffee house.
Yeah, okay. You can just turn it off now.